opens up the question all the time, doesn't it? We've been here before, but Arsene Wenger, you know, where does his future lie? And, you know, does he need to walk away, or does he stay on and keep fighting? I mean, what, as a manager yourself, Justin, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm sure that in his time there, he's been an outstanding manager. He's transformed the club. He's turned it around. But I think it looks, from the players' body languages, his own, that it looks like he's coming to an end. Whether or not he stays at that club and goes upstairs, I think that's difficulty for the new manager coming in. I think we see that at Manchester United. David Moyes found it really difficult with Sir Alex Ferguson in the stands week in, week out. So does he make a clean break from Arsenal? We'll have to wait and see. But in terms of the performances of late, it looks like the players have not got that real trust and belief in their manager of how and what they should be doing on the pitch.
What are your thoughts, Dean?
I think it'll be down to the players and the fans. I think that you know, everyone, so many people respect Arsene Wenger for what he's done at the club, the style that he brought to the Premier League when he first came in, and he has been incredibly consistent. Whether that's success or not is up to certain people. I'm sure the owners will have their view on that. But I think Arsene Wenger will only leave if he feels that the players aren't playing for him, or the supporters really don't want him to be there, and it'd just be such a shame for his legacy to be sort of tainted with a really bad run towards the end of his Arsenal career. But you can't keep making the same mistakes, surely. So many other managers would have lost their job by now.
Look, because I think 2 goals was difficult to swallow for 53, 56. Even if I think we have to analyze that, but it looked like that from outside that we lost our organisation. Not only did we lose our centre-back, but after the third one, it was a combination of mental and as well organisational, because before that we controlled them quite well. It was a bit a strange game, because I feel in the first half was quite, we played quite well, and we had 2 good chances just before half-time. And after we got a few blows, the first to lose Koscielny, and after we conceded 2 goals, 53, 56, I feel especially on the second goal we were really badly done, because it's corner for us. We have 5 players in the box, and there are 2 balls on the pitch, and they start the game, and we concede the goal. The real problems we faced was after the third goal, I felt, because we lost our organisation and we looked mentally very jaded and very vulnerable from that moment onwards. And after the last 25 minutes was a nightmare for us, because we looked like we had no response.
John?
Arsene, the loss of Laurent Koscielny was obviously significant, but you know, clearly it shouldn't have had the effect that it had, should it?
Look, of course, but if you ask me, would I have loved to keep Laurent Koscielny on the pitch, I would say yes. And after that, it's difficult to measure the real impact. The fact is, we have to cope with the result, and no matter what we say now, anyway, it will be turned in a way that is detrimental to us, and because we have an extremely bad result tonight.
Arsene, you say that the players look mentally jaded after the third goal. Why would they look mentally jaded on the biggest night of the season so far?
Look, because I think 2 goals was difficult to swallow for 53, 56. Even if I think we have to analyze that, but it looked like that from outside that we lost our organisation. Not only did we lose our centre-back, but after the third one, it was a combination of mental and as well organisational, because before that we controlled them quite well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you love the club as much as I love the club, then you're hurting like mad. It's really hard to believe how, having come back to 1-1 and having a little spell where they had 2 chances as well, Xhaka and Ozil had chances. I mean, the first thing to say is, yes, there was some wonderful Bayern brilliance during the game, and particularly in the second half, but there is a fragility in that Arsenal side at the moment. And obviously the person who is going to take all the flack is going to be the manager. But as players and as a squad, you win together, you lose together. At Arsenal, the club badge is actually a bit of Latin, Victoria Concordia Crescit, victory through harmony. So I hope today that the players are taking a long, hard look at themselves, because it was a collapse in the end that left them with as good as no chance in second leg.
Yeah, you mentioned a fragility. Whose fault is that, though, Bob?
It's a player's fault. If you're a footballer and a professional footballer, from the day you sign your contract, you should have within you, you should have 3 letters: win, W-I-N, win. And that should be in you from the start. You don't have a manager every day saying, you know, okay, the manager plays a part as regards the tactical side of it, but if you're playing for Arsenal Football Club, you're playing for the badge, you're playing for the fans, you're playing for the club itself, you're playing for yourselves and your family. So, you know, everybody's going to turn around and say it's the manager's fault. I don't go with that at all. You know, I know that when we, even in our great time in 70-71, and we lost 5-1 at Stoke City, and everybody said, well, that's it, Leeds United are champions, and we went 14 games unbeaten. That's what I mean about you win together, you lose together. We look at each other, we actually just had a go at each other. And yes, it is probably valid that they probably are not having a go at each other in the manner that Frank McClintock in my time, or Tony Adams, or Patrick Vieira have done in more recent times.
But is there a lack of leadership then? You mentioned some big characters there. Where are Arsenal's? I mean, Kieran Gibbs wore the captain's armband for a large portion of the game last night.
Yeah, well, I think that's valid. I think I said that is valid. I think Petr Cech is a leader. He's a great talker. Koscielny is a great player. He's not as vocal in any way, shape or form, or he doesn't go and grab a player in the manner that the three guys that I spoke about do that. So I think it is valid that there are not very obvious natural leaders. Having said that, as a squad in every position, I think Arsenal this year, ironically, have players in almost every position. I mean, I actually, as a manager, would never play my second-choice goalkeeper above my first-choice goalkeeper. So, you know, in that way, I'm in disagreement totally with anything other than playing your best side, because that's what we did every time.
Well, that's one decision that some people are questioning, the goalkeeping decision, Bob. But I just want to ask you, you say and we know that you want the best for Arsenal going forward. And no one would ever question the success that Arsene Wenger's had at Arsenal. I mean, he's been an incredible manager for the club. But moving forward, when does a change need to happen, do you think?
Well, I think it will come from Arsene. I think the club have to, you know, he's such an intelligent man. He can only take so much. He cares so much for the club. He lives his life for the football club and has done for 2 decades now. I am asking myself this morning, will the manner in which there was collapse at the end yesterday in that game, will that now tip him over the edge because he doesn't have a contract beyond this season? Do the club need to take him out of the firing line? He is such an honourable man. He's never ever going to walk away from the club. You won't find that. So there are big decisions to be made, and it is, you know, at this moment in time, they now have to think very carefully about the rest of the season in once again trying to achieve what they've done for 20 years, to be in the Champions League, which no other club in England has done, but also to make sure that they win the FA Cup. And I wouldn't actually fancy too much going to an artificial pitch at Sutton on Monday night. No, indeed. I mean, as someone who knows Arsene very well, a friend as well, I mean, would you put your arm around his shoulder perhaps in the summer and advise him that maybe it's time to maybe bring his tenure to an end? No, I wouldn't do that. You're talking about, you know, such an amazing guy and a man with an incredible brain, who has changed the face of the game in England from the time he arrived, with every other club following, both on the nutritional side, the stretch routine, the psychological side, the training grounds, the move into the stadium. You're talking about a guy who is very, very capable of coming up with the right decision.
Bob, we really appreciate you joining us today on Sky Sports News HQ.
Thank you.